Imagine a man of charm and intelligence, a doctor no less, whose sinister side led him down a path of darkness. This was the chilling reality of Thomas Neil Cream, a Scottish physician whose outwardly respectable profession masked a terrifying predilection for murder. Born in Scotland in the mid-19th century, Cream was a man of promising intellect, quickly climbing the ranks in the medical field. His expertise, however, would prove to be a lethal weapon. With a deep knowledge of poisons, Cream found a horrifying use for strychnine, a potent and deadly toxin. This tool of death earned him the ominous moniker, the Lambeth Poisoner. His victims were many, and they were unsuspecting. Patients who sought his aid, acquaintances who trusted him, all falling prey to his murderous whim. It was a gruesome spree that would continue unchecked for years, his medical authority providing the perfect cover. But even the cleverest of criminals cannot evade justice forever. Cream's reign of terror came to a chilling end when he was finally apprehended. The once trusted doctor was revealed to be a monster, and his fate was sealed on the gallows. As he stood on the gallows, his final words were a chilling confession: "I am Jack." Could he have been the infamous Jack the Ripper? The enigma of Thomas Neil Cream continues to haunt us, a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind the most respectable facades. Next, we delve into the life of a man whose monstrous acts sent shockwaves through Scotland in the 1950s. This is the blood-curdling story of Peter Thomas Anthony Manuel, a name that still chills the bone of every Scotsman. Born in the United States to Scottish parents, Manuel's life was marred by crime from an early age. His family's return to Scotland did little to curb his tendencies, and as he grew, so did his audacity. Manuel was not just a thief, but a predator, a man who took pleasure in the terror he instilled. His crimes escalated from petty theft and assaults to something far more horrifying. By the mid-1950s, Manuel had evolved into a ruthless killer, his victims chosen at random. Their lives ended without mercy. His brazenness was such that he would even break into the homes of his victims, violating their sanctity before ending their lives. Scotland was held in a grip of fear, and the name Peter Manuel became synonymous with the darkness that lurked in the quiet corners of the country. It took the diligent work of law enforcement and a trail of evidence that Manuel himself left behind to finally bring him to justice. Convicted of 7 murders and suspected of many more, Manuel's reign of terror came to an end on the gallows in 1958. The chilling legacy of his crimes, however, continues to haunt Scotland, a grim reminder of the darkness that can exist within the human soul. Let's turn our attention now to a man whose crimes against the most innocent among us will chill you to the bone. Enter Robert Black, a name that sends shivers down the spine of anyone familiar with his gruesome tale. Born in Scotland, Black's twisted journey began early on. His childhood was marred by cruelty, setting a dark precedent for the heinous acts he would later commit. As an adult, Black turned into a predator, a vile monster hiding under the guise of a delivery driver. It was during the 1980s, in this seemingly innocuous profession, that he committed his most horrifying deeds. He was responsible for the kidnap and murder of 4 young girls, their ages ranging from 5 to 11. His method was as calculated as it was cruel, exploiting his job to stalk his victims, snatch them away, and then his monstrous acts defy description. Black's reign of terror came to an end in 1990, when a failed abduction attempt led to his capture. The evidence against him was overwhelming, linking him to a series of unsolved cases. The court's verdict was unanimous, landing him multiple life sentences. The tale of Robert Black is a grim reminder of the evil that can lurk in the most ordinary places. His name is etched into the annals of Scotland's criminal history, a symbol of the unthinkable harm one man can inflict. Black's monstrous acts left a scar on Scotland that will never fade. Now, we uncover the tale of a man whose desire for wealth and status led him to a life of crime and murder. Archibald Hall, a name that shivers down the spine of Scotland's history, was a thief turned serial killer who claimed the lives of 5 innocent people in the 1970s. Hall's story begins in a poverty-stricken corner of Glasgow. Born into hardship, his aspirations for a life of opulence and grandeur drove him towards a path of thievery. But as greed gnawed at him, his crimes escalated from theft to cold-blooded murder. His first victim was his accomplice, a man he feared would reveal his secret criminal life. Then followed a wealthy employer, a lady of nobility, who he killed after robbing her. His spree didn't end there. Hall's thirst for wealth and the fear of exposure led to the murder of his own half-brother and 2 more unsuspecting victims. But like every tale of horror, the monster doesn't lurk in the shadows forever. Hall's reign of terror came to an end when he was finally apprehended by the authorities. His trial revealed a chilling portrait of a man fueled by greed and devoid of empathy. The courts handed down a life sentence, a testament to the gravity of his heinous acts. Hall's tale of greed and murder ended with a life sentence, a fitting end for a man so devoid of empathy. Our final tale is that of a man whose crimes spanned over 2 decades, leaving a trail of unimaginable horror in his wake. Angus Sinclair, a name that sends chills down the spine of those who know his story. Born and raised in Scotland, Sinclair was no stranger to crime. Yet it was during the late 70s Sinclair's malevolence took a horrifying turn. Between the years of 1977 and 1978, Sinclair committed heinous acts that shook the nation. 4 innocent girls and women fell victim to his monstrous deeds, their lives brutally cut short. Each crime was a grim testament to the escalating brutality of Sinclair's wicked nature. The dreadful tale of Angus Sinclair, however, did not end in the shadows. His reign of terror was eventually halted as the law caught up with him and justice was served. Sinclair's reign of terror ended behind bars, his name forever etched in Scotland's dark history.